We're live.
Hey, we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Funny Shrink Podcast. It is me, Mike Cateo, the Funny Shrink, and we have Frank King, the mental health comedian, in a hotel room.
Yes, because I live in Oregon and there are all kind of wildfires. And the good news is, Mike, the house survived, and that meant our refi on the mortgage went through.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Didn't I tell you that I talked to my mortgage broker and I said, hey, listen, just kind of a business etiquette question. If the title company, when we're signing papers, doesn't ask if the house burned down, do I have to tell them? And oddly, because they're in the same town, they know what's going on. They didn't ask. I don't think they wanted to know.
Probably not.
Yeah. So anyway, life is good. We're in a hotel thanks to points from friends. The Hilton Home 2 Suite, so it's a great place to reside while you
Thank
out
God.
the house and the refrigerator and freezer.
I'm looking right out at my Hilton Home 2 Suites, which is across the street. It's too bad you're not staying here. We could get a socially distant cup of coffee.
Yeah, do the show live socially distant.
That would be amazing if we ever did it live.
I bet we can at some point.
I hope so. So before we went live, we were talking. You were raised by a gay couple who were not the same gender. Like your mom and dad were gay.
Yeah, my mom and dad went to high school together. This is in the 40s, late 30s, early 40s. And, people back then didn't come screaming out of the closet, especially in North Carolina. And they were crazy about one another, both smart and funny. And they wanted to have kids. And they tried to adopt, and there weren't many infants available back then. And so they decided to try it the old-fashioned way, against nature. and my sister and I were born. So I'm working on a TEDx talk called Gay in My DNA.
That is incredible.
I mean, you got to figure if the two parents were gay somewhere in my DNA, and there is a reason, Mike, that I like tasteful decorations, Judy Garland, and I have an amazing ability to accessorize. I think I'm 1% gay, which means the trick for me, Mike, is never to get 99% drunk.
So I've told you I'm bisexual. Like, and in my 20s, I was full on gay. Like, I didn't date women. Like, I think the last woman I dated was 21 in college. And then I started dating a woman when I was 32, 33. So there was a good decade there where I was just in the gay culture all the time. And when now I'm getting married to a wonderful woman. We are so much in love. We met actually when I was in my early 30s. And when we started living together, I got a Peloton. And I'm riding on the Peloton, and there's a Cher ride by the singer Cher. And I'm belting out all the songs on the Peloton riding, screaming, "You believe in life after love after love." And she comes into the room and says to me, do you love Cher because you used to be gay? I started dying. I was laughing so hard. I told my whole family what she said. They were cracking up because, I figure I don't lie or tell any secrets about anything. Like, I put it all out there. If you're going to like me, you're going to like me. If you don't, you don't. Yep. But yeah, that is why I love Cher and Judy Garland.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Mike, I just think, yeah. Well, but it makes my parents fascinating to go against. Right. What I didn't tell you was my mother carried 2 to term that didn't make it.
Oh.
I mean, who finds the strength after 2 to term to try again and then again with my son? I mean, she's the bravest person I've ever. One of the reasons I don't die by suicide, Mike, is because my mother worked so hard to get me here. I figure I got to work at least as hard to stay.
That I give it to you, man. That's incredible.
Yep.
So speaking of gay, this is a weird intro. Speaking of gay, we have our guest today is a friend of mine from stand-up who I adore. He's a great guy, very nice, very handsome. Let's give it up for Tarik Daniels coming to the funny.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Frank.
And
Hey,
Tarik,
how you
want you to know that Mike just outed you on the podcast.
Oh no!
I hope your folks know.
Yeah, they know. They've known since birth.
Okay, that's right.
Was I not supposed to mention that you're gay?
I'm an open book. I've been out of the closet since I was 15 years old. So.
Okay, cool. So welcome to the Funny Shrink podcast. I'm really excited to have
Mike
you.
freeze, Tarik. Tarik froze. I'm the only one moving.
I'm
so
sorry.
If you can hear me, Tarik, you're a little low. Your volume's a little low. If you crank it up a little bit on your
I'm so
computer,
sorry.
if that's possible. I don't know if you.
There's
Mike. There's Tarik.
Is that better?
Yes, you were a little low volume-wise.
Okay. I wasn't able to do this on my computer, so it's on my phone. Please forgive me. But I'm very happy to be here.
It's
up on the phone.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
So you're a stand-up comedian, and you told me that you've been through a lot of stress and trauma, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah, it wasn't easy growing up black and gay in the 80s and 90s. My parents divorced when I was 3, and that was really hard for me. And I was bullied a lot. I was obviously gay, so it was no hiding it. But I survived it. So,
what do you think? What do you think is your takeaway?
My takeaway from my childhood?
Yeah.
Say, it's made me who I am because I now as an adult I have a lot of wonderful people in my life, wonderful friends, great relationships. Being mistreated and bullied, there was times when I didn't have any friends and I was an outcast, and it made me appreciate the people in my life now as an adult, and I cherish them. I think I'm a lot more fun to be around because I know what it's like to not have anything or not have anyone to be there for you. So
bullying is such a hard topic, right? So what would you say to someone who is going through that type of bullying?
Especially a young person in high school and in middle school.
I would love to be able to convince them that those assholes don't matter. They won't. I know they're important now, and it's consuming at that time. But fuck those kids. Like, they're not gonna matter. And hopefully, there's levels of bullying. Like, I was bullied, and a lot of the girls protected me from the guys that bullied me, and I was very, very lucky to have that. So I was never physically harmed. Or gay bash. I came close, but luckily I had the girls had my back. But if I knew back then how once you leave high school and you go to real life, they don't matter, and you don't need them.
Where are you from? Are you from New York?
I'm from Oakland, California.
Oh, wow. Oakland.
Yeah.
The bad part of Oakland, or?
My neighborhood was decent. It was like in the middle of good and bad. My high school was up in the Oakland Hills. It was really a beautiful campus, Skyline High School. But a few blocks down, it got worse. So we were in the middle.
Okay, cool.
East Oakland.
Cool. So, tell us about what got you into stand-up.
Well, I studied theater in college, and so I also do act. And so Wait a minute.
A gay guy studied theater in college?
I know, shocking. So original.
Well, let me tell you this, Tarik. The reason I did community theater was because it was a lot of gentlemen who were, gay, and a lot of really hot women. And and most of the women just assumed I was gay until, you're heterosexual. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Like shooting fish in a barrel.
but gay in the DNA still. I love that title.
Thank you.
That. And so so I was doing theater, and then I moved to New York, and my mother actually did stand up when I was a teenager briefly after my stepfather passed away, and I helped her write some of her jokes. And my mother and my aunt were always like, "You'd be really great at stand up." But then when I became a thespian, I'm like, "No, I'm an actor," and I wanted to hide behind roles because stand up is you. So you're giving your all. It's all about you. And I just didn't want to expose myself like that. I wasn't ready. And after struggling and doing and acting and not getting many auditions, I finally just had an epiphany and felt like I was ready. And I took a class at Gotham and started doing stand-up, and it's been great. I love it. I mean, I'm not successful, but I know I'm funny. And I
don't tell the people that. They don't know. We're going to say you're a national headliner. It's cool. Don't worry.
Yeah, look for my Netflix special coming out soon.
Yeah. Hey, I had a similar experience, Tarik. Told my first joke in 4th grade. Went to high school, started in the drama classes. I'm going to be an actor. And 3 years in high school, no good roles. I was always in the chorus. And by second semester of my senior year, I thought, I see a pattern here. But if I do stand-up, I can write, direct, produce my own little show every night. And they had a talent show that semester. And nobody ever done stand-up. And I did it and won. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's someone told me this, and I hate that I forget who told me this. It was either a teacher or a friend. I can't remember, but doing stand-up was just adding more tricks to your bag. So, I have the acting, I can act. Doing stand-up, you add that. I just wrote a short film. I started writing, so I'm adding that to my bag. And it's more tricks in your bag, and you have more to work with, especially if you enjoy entertaining people.
Exactly. Who'd you take the stand-up class with? Was it Jim?
Yes.
We had him on the podcast. He's a great mentor.
He was a great teacher. He taught me so much.
Who's Jim? Who do you have?
Jim might have been the tricks in the bag. He might have been the one that taught me that. I don't remember who did, but Jim was great.
Your beef master buddy.
Oh, Jim Mendrinos.
Yeah.
Love Jim. We were Tarik. We worked on the road together back in the day, back with like 85 to 95. We were on the road off and on. Did a couple clubs together.
Oh yeah, Jim is awesome. So funny.
He is a great guy. So, what would you like to? What are your goals for stand up? Like,
what's the end game?
The end game, I don't really have an end game. I had writer's block last year, so I took some time off. I really don't like going up if I don't feel it's fresh and it's funny. So I took some time off, but I want to continue to do it always. But I also want to do my acting and do my projects. So I'm excited for the pandemic to end so I can just get back on stage and perform.
Right.
I'm feeling you.
What was that, Frank?
I said, I want the pandemic to end. I'm feeling you. That's we all do, Tarik.
Yeah. So what would you say, who has been your greatest inspiration in comedy?
Well, my favorite comedian is Richard Pryor. That's my number one. I love Richard Pryor. I'm a big Chris Rock fan. There's so many great comedians. But if I'm gonna go with inspiration, it would be Richard Pryor.
All right. So I want to get back to the bullying aspect. Like, what was that like for you growing up? Like, were you worried about people finding out who the real you was, or?
I was worried. I think when I came out when I was in the 9th grade to mutual friends, and I had friends, but I didn't have like a best friend that I ate lunch with every day. And I had friends that either later years in high school we got closer, but in the 10th grade I came out and everyone knew, and I was very worried about being harmed physically. I remember one time I was leaving work. My first job was a movie theater, and I was waiting at the bus stop, and this car drove by, and I didn't know any of the people in the car, but they were like, "That's that faggot that goes to Skyline." And it was nighttime. I was really scared, and I'm like, "How did they know me?" And it gave me some kind of I was like semi-famous for being openly gay, and very nervous. But once I got my gay pride and I came out, I was bold with it. And I remember being on the bus, and this guy I could tell he was listening to me, and he was so bothered. And I was talking to my friend, and I was telling him about how I was going to go to the gay parade. So, I mean, I really gated up too on the bus about it, just to rub it in his face. And he got off the bus, and he went and told his boys that he said that faggot was talking about going to the gay parade. Let's beat his ass. And my friends, all the girls, scurried me away. And my friend, I'll never forget, my friend Nigel turned around to them and said, "Stop. This is not happening. You're not touching him." And they didn't. And then I ended up getting power over it, because if guys called me a fag, and then the next day they were trying to get with one of my friends, I would tell them, and they would go back to them and be like, "No, I'm not going to date you if you're going to be messing with Tarik." And then the next day, the guys would be like giving me weed, and they'd be buddies, and they were cool. It was. I was like, I had like pussy power. I used to say.
Dun, dun, pussy power.
Pussy power.
It's a thing. It's a thing. That's why I'm getting married to a woman.
Oh my God, I wish I was I would enjoy being bisexual. If I was bisexual, I would probably, not that I'm not proud of being gay, and I do love my homosexual self, but I just think women are awesome. So
they are awesome.
Congratulations on your engagement.
And let's be serious here, gentlemen. If you're bi, it makes the world a much bigger place.
Yeah.
Well, you know, being bi, I felt like, and I don't know if you could relate to this. I've been calling you Tarik for 10, 15 years. Is it Tarik?
I know, it's Tarik. Tarik is another pronunciation of the same
You
name.
never corrected me. You never corrected me. I know.
I'm bad. I've always been bad at it. It's always taken someone else to correct people. If I wasn't such a mess when this started, and I wasn't unorganized and not dressed right, I would have told you before we went live. I apologize.
Okay, don't worry. It's my fault. I didn't know.
It's totally okay.
So I was gonna say, like, being the whole reason I chose. Like, I'm bisexual, but I chose to mostly date men when I was younger is because I had low self-esteem, and I thought no woman would want me. And I knew I could get guys into bed much faster and much easier than, like, with women, it's complicated. You gotta be nice, you gotta be friendly. All I had to do was show my ass or whip out my dick, and it was on. So
yeah. Well, men were such sluts.
We are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also, Mike, you're a guy, so you have the guy's playbook or teacher's manual with the answers in the back. I ended up, I think, sleeping with a guy accidentally. Yeah. A friend of mine at a bar, a comedy club, set me up with this woman. And the problem with I think she was just cross-dressed, I guess. And the problem there is that if she's a he has the teacher's manual with the answers in the back, knows exactly what to say to turn a guy on. And we went back, to her place, and, this led to that. And I suspect the way it all, turned out that she was a he. But I'm no worse for the wear, I guess.
Hey, it's all experience. It's all experience.
Well, and I told Mike that when I met my wife in Hillcrest in San Diego, the largest gay community outside of the Bay Area in California, met her in a grocery store. She's tall, muscular. Turns out she's a bodybuilder. I didn't know that. Wearing a ton of makeup, false eyelashes, gorgeous. And she said she'd go out with me. So once I set the date, I started getting nervous. And so I'm thinking she's got outdoor, not indoor plumbing. And I said to my roommate, "Look, if I don't call you by midnight, send the cops to this address because I'm playing a crying game and losing."
No.
And at 11:45 at her apartment, I go, "Can I borrow your phone?" She goes, "Yeah." And right in front of her, I called my roommate and went, "It's a girl."
Oh my God.
Now,
was she pissed?
No, she's delightful. And two things. My male friends go, wait a minute. There's a 50-50 chance she was a guy and you still went out with her? And the comedy club answer is, hey, a BJ's a BJ.
A mouth is a mouth.
Yes. Second thing is, she's so sweet and so smart and so funny and such a great person. I would have married her if she had a penis.
That's awesome.
Just plumbing. Come on.
That's very good that you're not transphobic.
No, she's just amazing. And yeah, she's and we've laughed about that innumerable times. Although I've got female friends who look at her because she's, curvy, looks like Jessica Rabbit kind of.
Mm.
And they go, oh yeah, there's some testosterone there. No. But her guns are bigger than mine. Her father was abusive, and sometimes women marry somebody exactly opposite. And so she'll tell you one of the reasons she married me was because she knew she could take me.
That's hot.
Yeah.
I know I can kick your ass.
Yeah.
I love that.
Come on, honey, hold me down. All right.
Frank, you're a little kinky.
Yeah. Well, it's my parents. There's something,
This is a lot of fun. Where could people find you, Tarik?
You can on Twitter, Tarik Daniels, my name, Tarik.
I did it again.
And then I'm Tarik78 on Instagram, and then also my name on Facebook.
Tarik78.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Mike, are we going to put a special together on Zoom, Sexually Fluid and Funny?
We've talked about it. We've never made any progress with it. I am, if I want to, it's just like I have a bunch of projects going and
a full-time job.
And a full-time job, yeah. So I need to slow down, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah, that's one of our ideas, and we would love to have you on. It's gonna be a Zoom show. Have you done them?
I have not done any Zoom shows, but I would love to.
Well, there you go. If we get it together, we'll let you know.
I'm totally in.
Thank you for stopping by, man. If there's anything else you want to say, please do. The floor is yours.
Thanks for having me. I think this is a great idea for a podcast, and I appreciate you interviewing me and talking to me today.
Awesome.
Well, and can I say something on behalf of your gay brothers and sisters, perhaps in high school or middle school? There are people out there who love you that you don't even know, and respect you for your, and have no problem with your sexual orientation. So just hang in there until you, as Tarik said, till you graduate high school and enter the real world, and you'll find those people. You'll find your tribe.
Yeah, I concur. You will.
They will love you for yourself.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. It was great. It was great to see you. I'm glad you were able to do the podcast. Don't go anywhere. I'm just going to end the broadcast, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Thank you for stopping by.
See you, Mike.